I showed you earlier, the three objectives for this end section of 7.3. We've really gone over 14. We've talked about osmosis. What we haven't talked about are 13 and 15 yet. This different types of tonicity. Remember, tonic means solute. And I think of tonic water, tonicity water, or mineral-based water. And I'll be using just, this is just salt for my examples here. You can imagine what salt looks like. And then finally we'll talk about a few biological examples. Tonicity is the ability of a solution to cause a cell to gain or lose water. So if something has, if a cell has a very tonic environment around it, would it lose or gain water? The answer is this, that it would lose water to its environment. However, the first example I want to show you is example of isotonicity. This is a balance of tonicity that is set up a lot in nature, in our bodies, where the solution on one side of a membrane has the exact same amount of solutes as the solution on the other side of the membrane. So water doesn't move. There's no net movement of water by osmosis. I was walking by the skateboard park earlier and found these eye drops, and eye drops are isotonic. They are something that is going to, when you put into your eye, it's going to allow a bunch of fluid to go into your eye, but not a lot of solute, so that moisture will actually go in to the area and lubricate the eye. No moisture is really going to go into the cells, but none's going to come out of the cells either. If you can imagine, one reason why your eyes hurt when you open them under water in, say, a pool or the ocean is because there's more solutes or more tonicity out there than within the cells of the eye, and so water actually is leaving the eye, and that's why your pain receptors say, oh, this stinks, and then you close your eyes and you rub them and they get red as a result. Your body's saying, don't open them again. Too tonic or too much tonicity outside when you open your eyes underwater, if it's, say, a pool or an ocean. You can read the definition there of isotonic. In the middle, if you look, an isotonic solution is not only going to add water, but it's going to cause the same amount of water to leave, so there's no net osmosis going on there. And example in a plant cell is that the plant cell would be full of water and it would be in a good situation. So an example of a hypertonic situation is when there's more tonicity, more tonicity outside of a cell than inside of a cell, and water will leave. So imagine if I took this salt and I took my glasses off and I poured the salt into my eye, what would happen to the water in my eye? Well, it would leave. So where is it a hypertonic solution in that situation? Well, it's outside my eye. Yes, there's some water vapor out here in the air. We could say that that's the solvent. Here's the solute. That's a solution. It's out here and it's going to suck water, or water is going to move by osmosis outside of my eye. If this happens in a plant cell, the plant cell will shrivel, and this is called plasmolysis down here on the right. This often happens on the sides of our highway, our interstate here, with all the mag chloride that's going on that will bleach off the sides of the road, and all those minerals or solutes on the plants or grasses that live on the sides of the highways will suck the water out of the plants or grasses, and they will die. That's an environmental example of that. Finally, a hypotonic solution is one that has less solutes than a cell which the membrane is covering that it is near. So an example would be pure water. Let's say I took some pure water. I've got some right here. Go Huskies. Got some right here. If I poured this on my eye, what would happen to the water in the cells of my eye? Would it move? Which way would it move? And the answer is, what's the answer? The water would actually move to an area of lower water concentration. So my eye would actually become hydrated. if I poured pure water, let's say there were no minerals in this, it was just distilled water that had evaporated, cooled, and condensed into a container, then the water then should go into my eye because there's more solutes in the cells there. So here's the example. In a plant, if this happens, then the plant will become turgid, which just means that the vacuole inside the middle will really go big, filled with water, and it will push out on the cell membranes and the cell walls, and the plant will be totally upright and even really kind of puffy, to be honest. And it's an example in the environment, as it pertains to an animal, is this guy right here. This is an amoeba, and it depends on whether his environment is either hypertonic or hypotonic to him. You can see here that his vacuole is filling, and this must mean that the environment is hypotonic to him, so he has more solute than the environment, and he's actually gaining water. And here at the bottom suggests that he's in a hypertonic environment. And this could happen, this happens a lot to single-celled organisms, bacteria, or these eukaryotic organisms like amoeba, because they live places like in your digestive system or in Nottingham Lake, where there's going to be fluctuations of tonicity outside of them. And so they have to have these vacuoles that can store water in good times and release some water in bad times, and so that they still have enough water to survive. This is a paramecium, and you can see that he has a contractile vacuole that's acting like a pump here. Please answer this question, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Go ahead and press pause if you need to. Here's what we just talked about with respect to plant cells. I'll let you look at this. Here's plasmolysis. You can take a look at this. Make sure that you spend some time answering these objectives for tomorrow. Thanks.